Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm up at my dad's again. I'm going to do a little bit of work on some tractors. Thought I'd bring you along. Let me show you what today's project is going to be. So right over here we have, this is my Model A. It's a 1948 John Deere Model A. I made a video of when I put the front end on it, but I never got around to adjusting the steering because it was a little bit wobbly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to put on a 3-point hitch that I have. Over here in the loft, if you look up here, I've got right there an aftermarket 3-point hitch that was on my tractor when I bought it. I'm going to put that back on and we'll see if we can get that 3-point hitch working. So get this, I think it'll be a lot easier if I get it out of the cold barn and put it into the shop. But in order to do that, I've got to move the 430. Before I move the 430, move the G. So I know the G will start. I started it a couple weeks ago and it was about 30 degrees colder than it is now. And it started up. 430 being a 6-volt, that might be more challenging, but hopefully we can get this started too. And then I guess we have to start up my tractor and get my tractor moved out. And I haven't started it for about 6 months. So if you remember when I put this Roll-O-Matic front end on my tractor, then as I was driving it around, there was quite a bit of free play here. Ooh, I can tell already my steering is really loose. I need to tighten that up. Not something I noticed when I had the single tire on the front. Now that I've got two, that does wobble back and forth a lot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten that up right now. I've got to remove all of this grease. I took this cap off. Remove all of this grease. It's pretty fresh, and so I'm going to try to save it and put it back in there. But down inside of here, I'll show you how to adjust this this front end steering. Right down there, there is a a flathead screw, machine screw, and you can see that the head of that fits into these little scallops. And that's an eccentric bushing. And so if you tighten, if I remove that screw and I move this bushing one way or the other, it's going to tighten, well, it's going to move this gear to be more in mesh with this worm gear down in here that I'm pointing to with my screwdriver, or less engaged with that. Well, I have quite a bit of free play. If you look over here at my steering wheel, let's leave that screwdriver there. If you look at my steering wheel, I have quite a bit of free play. You know, I've got a good quarter turn of steering wheel free play here. So I'm going to remove that machine screw, adjust that bushing over 1 or maybe 2 notches, and try to eliminate some of that free play. Okay, so this is frustrating. I just now loosened that screw and rotated this eccentric bushing clockwise, one adjustment setting. So I was thinking, oh, this will be perfect. Let's see how much free play I eliminated. So here's my steering wheel. Maybe a tiny bit, but still, I mean, I still have a quarter of a turn free play. But let me show you something that I'm frustrated about. Okay, this is what I'm frustrated about. So with that steering adjusted, it doesn't really remove much free play with my steering wheel, but it is right there. That's as sharp as I can turn to the left. And that's as sharp as I can turn to the right. Now, if I'm out driving around, I can turn it a little bit sharper, but the steering wheel gets stuck in that position, which is not safe. So, I don't know what to do. You know, unless I start replacing parts, maybe that's what I do. See if I can find a place that has, I don't know if it's my steering bushing, my worm gear here on my steering shaft, or if it's this eccentric bushing right here. Either, or the combination of the two. I can't have it this tight, and I only adjusted it one setting, but I can't have it this tight because it's undrivable and unsafe. So I've got to loosen it back up, that one setting, and live with a little bit of wobbly front end until I can figure out what to do with that eccentric bushing and that steering gear. I'm going to pack all the grease back in there for now. And, you know, I guess that's another thing I could do is I could look at different greases, see if some greases. Right now, this is just kind of like a bearing grease, which I would think would be good for, you know, for like have good lubrication between these, you know, these worm gears. But man, it's just, I don't know what to do. For now, like I say, well, anyway, I was gonna say I could look at different greases and see if maybe like they have like a synthetic grease that is slipperier than what I've got in there right now. Different types of greases. I've heard some people say to put corn head grease in there. It's more of like a liquid, and maybe that liquidy grease would kind of flow in there and lubricate between the steering gears better. But anyway, right now it's not going to work. That's frustrating. So here's this machine screw, and it fits down inside that hole right there. I've adjusted that eccentric bushing back to where it was originally. Unfortunately, that's as best I'm going to be able to do tonight. I'm going to go home and do some reading and figure out some more on how to adjust this. In the meantime, if you guys know what I'm doing wrong, please comment down below. I appreciate your help. Well, while the steering may have been a frustration and a kind of a failure today, I did come back here to the power control valve and I put a couple quarts of 1040 oil right here in the fill and started it up, turned on the PTO, and this thing works great. Just activating the lever forward and backward, it lifts and lowers me, no problem. I put this big huge wrench, this 24-inch crescent wrench on there, and I stood out here on the very end and activated that, and it just lifts me up, no problem at all. I'll make a video and show you what I mean.